Happy Monday, everybody at Bleacher Report. Happy Monday, everybody at YouTube. Let's get it. We're back with another Monday morning quarterback. We're a couple days away from Christmas. I want to wish you guys a happy holidays before we get into this show, but we've got a lot of action to talk about. The playoff race, it's heating up. We've had some crazy endings. Some teams are already looking forward to the draft, and there is chaos down in Miami. We've got my favorite segment, the How Did It Happen, brought to you by Microsoft and Copilot. I appreciate you guys so much for letting us do this all year long, leading into the playoffs. We have a lot of football to talk about, letting this notification go out, letting you guys hang out and chat and get this thing rolling. But now, we've got to talk playoffs because there's some teams that are out. There's some teams that are dang near out, and there are teams that are in but still have room to wiggle and make a slight advancement to grab a better seeding and potentially even win their division. So, without further ado, let's flip the script. Let's get over into our playoff predictions and see how all of this is going to shape out. Also, chat, if you guys have any questions in chat, anything you want to talk about, anything you want me to go over, anything like that, be sure to throw it down. We will make sure that your questions get answered today. Happy Monday, gang. Let's talk playoffs. So, the playoff picture is a little bit more confirmed on one side than the other. But right now, as it stands, we have the Seahawks and the Broncos as the 1 seeds. The Broncos, though, just lost the game to the Jaguars. Now that is getting a little bit closer because the Patriots are also 12-3. One more loss by the Broncos, and if the Patriots win out, which their schedule, just letting you guys know, they have the Jets and the Dolphins back-to-back. Going to be tough, in my opinion, to see the Patriots lose a game, but it's the NFL. You never know. Any given Sunday, right? But the Broncos, their last 2 games, they have the Chiefs, who now are down to their 3rd quarterback. They're probably going to win this game. And then they have the Chargers. And the Chargers are sitting at 11-4. The Broncos are sitting at 12-3. The Chargers, rest of their season, they've got the Texans. Really tough game this week. And then they've got the Broncos. The Chargers keep finding ways to win. They're playing way above my expectations. I'm not going to lie. I was a Chargers, not hater. I was a Chargers anti-truther. I thought they had too many injuries to keep it going, and they're keeping it going right now. So shout out to the Bolt gang. Now, what are the chances the Dolphins trade Tua? I would not be shocked at all. This might be the craziest NFL offseason we will have ever seen, guys. There are disgruntled quarterbacks. There are coaches on the hot seat. There are longtime tenured coaches on the hot seat. Baltimore Ravens, I'm looking at you. Looking at you. Like, it is not a good look. I would not be shocked to see some teams completely reset across the board. Also, just here to say Duval, I love it, man. I love it. Let's go get back to this playoff prediction, though. Let's go talk about some seedings because the seedings are getting kind of crazy, okay? Let's get to it. So, let's see what side we're going to start with real quick. Let's talk about the AFC. Right now, as it stands, the Broncos are 1 seed, Patriots are 2 seed. Everything else is up for grabs. You have the 11-4 Jaguars who are currently in the 3 seed. However, they are only, 1 game ahead of the Texans at this point. And to be honest, I don't see how the Jaguars could jump up to the 2 unless, maybe the Patriots drop a game, but the Patriots have a really cupcake schedule. This is going to be crazy. So we have the Jaguars at 3. We have the Steelers at 4. Remember, the divisional winners get the 1-4 seeds. Then their wild card spots. There are 3 wild card teams in the AFC with better records than the Steelers. But the Steelers are playing really damn good football right now, going toe-to-toe with the Lions, which we will get to later. But the Steelers are playing better football now than they did earlier in the season. They're also playing pretty well in the conference, 7-3 in the conference. And everyone knows that you've got to play well in the conference to make it to the playoffs. You cannot just rinky-dink through the conference because there's seeding issues, there's wild card spots, there's a lot of tiebreakers. It's pretty interesting. However, one last thing I do want to note, okay? The Denver Broncos play the Chiefs and the Chargers in the last 2 weeks of the season, okay? If the Chargers win out and the Broncos win out up until that last game, so if they each win next week, if the Chargers beat the Broncos, the Chargers will be the divisional winners because they have a better division record than the Broncos. So, at this point in time, the Chargers are win and they are the divisional winners. And they will get some home playoff games. They will not be road dogs. So, we've got some craziness coming up down the stretch. See in chat, 49ers win out and be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Yes. Thank you for pointing out because we were going to get there too. The 49ers. Let's go look at their schedule, gang. The 49ers are now sitting at 10-4. They have a game tonight against the Colts. I expect them to handle business. I don't think Philip Rivers can get it done, but we'll see. That would put them at 11-4. Then they play the Bears, and they're playing at home. That would win them another game, and then they play the Seahawks, okay? If they win tonight, they're 1 game behind the Seahawks, but where it gets tricky is that the 49ers have dominated their division. The 49ers are 4-1 in their division and 8-2 in the conference. 8-2 in the conference. The 49ers have the best conference and best divisional record in the NFC. Win and you're in. We could see within the next few weeks, the 49ers win out, the Chargers win out, and they completely flip the entire playoff picture, gang. Come on now. The NFC's crazy too. You look at the Eagles, they just clinched, but they're 10-5, okay? They're, from the way that I see it, I don't know if the Eagles can jump to the 2 seed. Maybe. We'll see if the Bears, what the Bears do. The Bears, again, guys, they've got the 49ers and the Lions back-to-back. We'll see. The Eagles, their schedule, they've got the Bills and the Commanders. I mean, guys, this is incredible. The Rams, they're in the playoffs. We know they're in the playoffs. This in the hunt, guys, is going to come down to the Packers fizzle out at the end and fall out, and can the Lions sneak their way in? The Lions are 1.5 games behind the Packers. Their division record sucks. Their conference record sucks. They need the Packers to fizzle. They need, I'm not going to lie to you there either. We're in a crazy bit here. I'm looking at this bracket, guys. Say the Bucks jump the Panthers. If the Bucks jump the Panthers and the Panthers fall down and the Packers fall down, we could see a Bucks, Lions, Panthers in the playoff, Packers out if the Packers don't win one more game. And the Packers next 2 weeks, guys, they've got the Ravens this week, who we might be seeing a Packers third-string quarterback. I've had a lot of tweets at me because I used to play for the Packers, but can't go back there, guys. Can't go back there, unfortunately. There are other teams that I could go back to if they got into a conundrum like this, but not the Packers. Not a great rapport there. But the Packers have the Ravens and the Vikings the last 2 weeks. Both teams 7-8. Both teams better than the records indicate. And if they don't get Jordan Love back because of this concussion, it's going to be tough. Malik Willis, the backup quarterback, shoulder injury. I don't know, guys. I really don't know, but it doesn't look good. Not sounding the alarms yet. They need to find 1 win. If they find 1 win, they're probably in. Chat, Trevor Lawrence past 4 games, 12 touchdowns, no turnovers. This is the Trevor Lawrence we've been waiting for. It's taken 6 or 7 years, however long it's been. Trevor Lawrence is playing lights out. Some might say MVP level. Some might say. Not me, but some. Who knows? I'm seeing Steelers at home against anyone they have a chance to. Steelers, you got to talk about that Steelers team, man. The Steelers defense, I know they ended up letting up some points late in that game, but they played freaking phenomenal all game long. If you go back and look at that game, they let up 14 in the fourth. They let up 10 points the whole game up until the fourth. 10 points the whole game, guys. And the run game, guys, the Steelers' run game, I don't care, matches up against anybody. They are putting a hat on a hat. I have some more breakdowns coming out on YouTube. If you guys have been seeing my breakdowns go around, they've been doing pretty well. So thank you guys for supporting those. But we've got more breakdowns on the way. I don't know, man. The Steelers crazy. See more chat. Can the Chargers play in the cold? We do not know if the Chargers can play in the cold. We don't. We know Harbaugh likes the cold. We know that their run game probably fits the cold weather, but we don't know if they can play in the cold yet. We don't. Patriots versus Seattle in Super Bowl. Could totally see that. Could totally see that. Chat, you guys are popping today. Happy holidays. We've got action. I guess we should talk about the bubble teams maybe. What do we think, guys? Should we go back and talk about the bubble teams? Then move on to the craziest game endings ever? Let's do it. Let's freaking do it. Let's talk about the bubble teams. The only bubble team that I'm really concerned about here that I think is a little more fraudulent than the percentages indicate is the Bucks. 58% chance to make the playoffs. I feel like it should be lower. I feel like, personally, when I'm looking at it, the Panthers have been playing better football than them. I think, yeah, it was a close game, but I think the Bucks are fizzling out, man. Their defense is terrible. And the only thing that the Bucks have going for them right now, if I'm being completely frank with you, is that the Bucs schedule, the Panthers play the Seahawks this week at home, and then they play on the road against the Bucs. But the Bucs play the Dolphins this week in Miami, and then they play the Panthers. So the last two games, if the Panthers lose to the Seahawks, which they probably will, who knows, maybe, maybe not, they play hard. If they lose and the Bucs win, then they're back at 8-8. But it's going to come down to the last week of the season because right now, the divisional record between the two will end up being a tie if the Bucs win. The conference, though, record would go to the Panthers. And I don't necessarily understand how they have 58% chance for the Bucs to make it to the playoffs. Because if my mathematics serve us well and they make sense, I guess, yeah. They're saying that the Bucs beat the Panthers in the last week of the season and went out. Where I just don't know that, like, the chances of the Bucs winning the next two games, are we really saying it's a 58% chance they win the next two games? I don't buy that. We'll see. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Who knows? But I will say, if the Panthers win this week against the Seahawks, I believe they clinch. Because they would have the divisional tiebreaker, which would be pushed to the conference record, and the conference record for the Panthers would beat the Bucs. They could eliminate them. But who knows? What up, chat? Texans are scary and massively underrated. You know what I liked about the Texans this past week, guys? The Texans showed resolve in a game that, in all reality, the Raiders, they had two big plays for touchdowns. 14 points came off of two big plays. Everything else was pretty much strapped. And the Texans had to find a way to win with some adversity against a Raiders defense, guys, who actually isn't terrible. If you look at some of these Raiders games, they held the Broncos to 10 points once. They held the Broncos to 24 points. They lost to the Chargers 31-14, kind of late points. I mean, there are some games where the where the Raiders defense did step up and play. There are some games where they got blown out. I mean, shoot, week one, I know it's way, 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 way back. They beat the Patriots. Like, they haven't played entirely terrible all season as a defense. And I don't know. I like that the Texans had a little bit of adversity in that game and they had to fight through. So that's what I like. Is there a path for the Rams back to the number one seed? Let's see. Let me check my database here. Now the Rams are 11-4. Seahawks are 12-3. The problem with the Rams, guys, is that the Rams' conference record is 6-4. In my opinion, they've lost one too many in the conference. Because if the 49ers go today and win, the Rams move to the 6th seed. They moved to the 6th seed because the Niners would have the divisional tiebreaker and the conference tiebreaker. And let's see. They've got the 1-1 home and away versus the Rams. So Niners win tonight. Rams are bumped to 6th seed. I don't know how the Rams could possibly have enough things go their way to jump a game and a half, if not 2 games, on whoever the potential 1 seed is going to be. So I think the Rams need to just settle on in, grab their playoff spot, know they're going to be road dogs, and scrap it up. So that's what I'm looking at. Do I think the Bills can win the AFC East? I was looking at this. This is the last one we're going to answer before we go into the craziest game endings ever. But the Bills sitting at 11-4, they're 1 game behind the Patriots. But the problem is the Patriots' last 2 games, guys, the Jets and the Dolphins. I mean, if you're talking about cupcake schedules of all cupcake schedules, that's what the Patriots got this year. Let's go through the Patriots, the New England Patriots Cupcake Express. Raiders, week 1, they lost. Dolphins, week 2, they won. Steelers, week 3, they lost. Then they beat the Panthers. They beat the Bills in a close game. Then they beat the Saints, the Titans, the Browns, the Falcons, the Bucks, the Jets, the Bengals, the Giants, lost to the Bills, beat the Ravens. Fact check me here. Have the Patriots beaten a team with a winning record besides the Bills all season long? No. The only team with a winning record that the New England Patriots will have beaten the entire season is the Buffalo Bills. Holy crap. I got to look at this one more time. I mean, this is actual factual. What are I guess the Panthers. The Panthers are 8-7. They lose this week, they'll be 8-8. That's crazy. That is crazy. What should the Dolphins do? Should they draft somebody or sign somebody? That's a tough look. I'm going to be doing film breakdowns on the college guys after the NFL season, and we'll find out. I'm a fan of drafting for superstar potential and free agency for piecework. I think there are so many quarterbacks now that get recycled in free agency that unless you're getting a guy with a Josh Allen type of stature or, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, like that was a crazy class. But like those guys all had something that had the potential to make them really, really special if everything lined up for them. You've got to find that guy in the draft. And if not, I don't know. But all right, let's get to the crazy endings because we got to talk about some of these crazy endings, guys. Chat, I appreciate you so much for being here. Let's get to it. We had some crazy ones. The Rams-Seahawks. I don't know if you guys saw the video that I broke down on the Seahawks game, but that 2-point play, chef's kiss. It was great. But we went to overtime. And in my opinion, the Seahawks never should have been in the game. At the end of the game, the Rams should have finished it, should have handled business, just like they should have against the Eagles early on. But look at this. The 2-point play from hell. This is why coaches tell you to jump on the ball at all costs because you never know when it's a backwards pass and it goes into the end zone and then someone picks it up nonchalantly with one hand to go give it back to the ref and you're rewarded with 2 points for being a good citizen, good Samaritan there. The 2 points gifted because the Rams didn't play through the whistle, which seems to be the Rams in a nutshell. They do not play through the end of these games. The Rams are 11-4 right now, guys, and the losses that they have this season, kind of gross. Kind of gross. They lost to the Eagles 26-33 when in that game, they let up 12 points in the fourth quarter, most of them coming in the last few seconds of the game. They lost to the Niners when Kyron Williams fumbled going into the end zone at the 1-yard line with 20 seconds left in the game. They lost to the Panthers when they threw like 4 interceptions, a bunch of turnovers, 28-31, and then this was their other loss. The Seahawks could very well be undefeated. The Rams could very well be undefeated if they just got out of their own way and just paid a little bit more attention to detail just a little bit longer. But that was a crazy ending. But I'm not going to also take it away from the Seahawks if they fought through the finish. Mike McDonald, incredible head coach. Sam Darnold, balling. I like it. What I don't like is Green Bay, Chicago. That ending hurt my soul as a former Packer, but it also goes to show you that you got to play all the way through the end. They had that game in the bag. There was 3 minutes left. They were up by 10. The Packers blew the lead. Let Caleb Williams get his redemption that he did not have a couple weeks ago. And then they put Keyshawn Nixon, one-on-one with DJ Moore on a post in quarters when you have outside leverage, no help. Ben Johnson dialed it up. He saw the look that he wanted. They got to the right play. They saw something. They attacked the perfect play action to pull up the safeties to get outside leverage on the corner and go over the top, and bang, game was over in overtime. In a game that should have been over in the fourth quarter with the Packers winning. It was tough. And then last but not least, Pittsburgh, Detroit. I did a breakdown this morning of this. You guys will see it go live on my social media. If you don't already, follow me at Kurt Benkert everywhere. This game, this play right here, they called offensive pass interference, which say what you want. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But they ruled this as a touchdown that was called back for OPI. No timeouts left. Clock stopped. In all reality, Amon-Ra obviously didn't get in the end zone. He didn't score. Forward progress entirely stopped, dragged back for 4 feet. This should never even have gotten to Goff. The OPI didn't even matter because the play would have been dead. The ref should have blown the whistle 3 seconds sooner, 5 yards sooner. And next time, they are going to rightfully so be able to suplex somebody and slam them backwards into the turf if they're not going to blow the play dead. That one came down to the officiating. It should have never even gotten to Goff. They should have blown it dead, and we wouldn't have any controversy at all. I don't really even think there is controversy, OPI or not. I think, could they have called OPI? I think they should have. In that situation, If they wouldn't have, would I have blamed them? No. I think they're letting guys play hard, kind of like a Hail Mary situation. It is what it is. Say what you want. It is OPI, and even if it wasn't, it shouldn't have been a touchdown. They should have never have labeled it as a golf touchdown that got nullified due to penalty and clock ran out. Amon-Ra St. Brown was dragged backwards for 5 yards, falling to the ground after 3 seconds, and just tossed it. We have seen tush pushes declared dead for less on forward progress being stopped. I rest my case. But it was a crazy weekend of NFL football. And I know there's some teams out there that are already looking forward to the NFL draft, so let's get to it. Let's talk about some 2026 draft advice, because there's going to be some guys, okay? And there's going to be some teams in some weird spots. And this is where I want to ask my friend, co-pilot, a question. Because right now, the way that it looks as if we have the New York Giants. Oh, my question. Let's see. The New York Giants are on pace to have the first overall pick in the draft for the first time in a long time. So I want to ask co-pilot, when is the last time the New York Giants had the number 1 overall pick? All right, let's see here. Quick little reset. Here we go. The last time the New York Giants had the number 1 overall pick was in the 1965 NFL draft, gang. The 1965 draft, when they selected running back Tucker Fredrickson out of Auburn. They have rarely had a top pick in their 100-year history. Let's see. That was the most recent. They've also had some other top 5 picks, some top 10 picks, but it looks like 1965. If math serves me well, that is over 60 years ago. And if I'm them, I'm tanking these last 2 games, because what the Giants need more than anything is they need to trade out of this pick and they need to get a haul, because I see some teams here that could all use a quarterback. Raiders, I'm looking at you. Browns, say what you want about Shador. I'm looking at you. I think they wouldn't. They also might just lean into Deshaun Watson coming back per reports. But the Jets, I'm also looking at you. The Raiders and the Jets probably both going to be vying for that number 1 overall pick. You could get a haul. You could get multiple first rounds for years to come and load up your team. And when you're looking at the Giants, guys, in my opinion, the Giants have their quarterback. They need a really good offensive-minded head coach. They have Scatterby, who's going to be coming back from injury, showed promise. Some of their other running backs, they need a little work, whatever. Malik Neighbors coming back. Maybe you're able to get a few pieces on offense to make your offense explosive, similar to what we're seeing from the Jacksonville Jaguars now. But if I'm the Giants, I'm tanking. I'm not risking anything. I am tanking. I'm not trying to win these games because we need to get that haul. And the Vegas Raiders should be calling. The New York Jets absolutely should be calling. But hey, you never know. You never know. But I do want to move on to one more segment before we go to the how did this happen. There's been chaos in Miami. Okay. Mike McDaniel, hot seat. Tua, benched. Tua played his last down in Miami as far as we know. Now, I think Mike McDaniel is one of the best offensive-minded coaches. I also think that he's got more room to grow. I also think their defense sucks. I also think their personnel is terrible. Greer got fired, kind of ran them into the ground. Overpaid old players, whatever. Mike McDaniel is expected to return next season. Now, what do I want to see? I want to see them trade. I want to see them completely up, just everything. I want to see them go after Joe Burrow. I want to see them go after Lamar Jackson. I want to see them go after Kyler Murray if they have to. I think their quarterback's going to come from a trade or free agency. I don't think it's going to come from a draft. Not for this season, not to be able to compete next season, not to go up against the Patriots or the Bills. But I think they're going to need a quarterback that brings them more upside. And they're going to have to fully rebuild this. And they're going to need to find some pieces on defense. That's for sure. But one thing I know, Miami, free agent destination. Miami, no state income tax because you're in Florida. Miami, great weather. Miami should be a team that can get guys to go there. Now, how they get them there, who knows? But Miami, in my opinion, needs a quarterback that they can build around, and it is not Tua. We've been calling it since 2023, 2024, whatever it is. I think they overpaid for that contract. I don't think he was ever worth $55 million a year. And Is that to say that Tua can't be good in the NFL, can't be serviceable, whatever? No. But I do think that Tua could. I do think that Tua could, even though he's throwing a little pick backed up here, in the right situation, without having to be a superhero, without doing stuff like this, could he revive himself? Maybe. Maybe. In the right scheme, in the right system. But I don't think that his arm is the best. I think he has to throw with a lot of anticipation. I would not be shocked to see Tua want to go play in a dome. That's what I'm going to say. Now, let's get to my last segment. My favorite segment. Let's get out of here. 1 second. Please hold. Please hold. Let's get it. Because I want to talk some Cam Ward, baby. Cam Ward is the truth. And Cam Ward has been showing signs of Aaron Rodgers, because I broke down another play that will be going live later, but this is the exact play that we're looking at for this. Watch how he navigates the pocket, okay? Watch how he navigates the pressure, slides, does everything he needs to do. We're going to get some pressure here. Running back's going to have to fill, and we are going to have to get some pocket movement. Now, to him, this feels like an unblocked guy, but he trusts his guy. Great. Great job meeting him in the hole. And also, look at his eyes staying downfield. They don't go down at the ground. He doesn't look to scramble immediately. Eyes downfield. He's still, even with a guy in his face, progressing through his reads. And now, the second and third read's not there. He's going to get out the scramble now. But he's still processing and playing high-level quarterback play against a defense, by the way, that has been a top 10 defense for quite some time. And even though the Chiefs are having a down year, they're having a down year mainly for their offense. Their defense has still been playing pretty well. And now this is the stuff I'm talking about. Does this not give you vintage Aaron Rodgers vibes rolling to his left, trailing? He's got to force him to flip his hips earlier than he wants to. And watch this. Fade away on the run, probably 35, 40 yards downfield, dot. I mean, Cam Ward, you are ridiculous, man. There are only a handful of guys in the NFL that can do this. And it's not just this physically. Like I said, he went from 1 to 2 to 3 to out on scramble. Out of there. And he's going to throw this ball from the opposite, we're going to say 48, all the way down to the 12 and a half. I mean, incredible throw, rolling left, fade away. Cam Ward is here, guys. Cam Ward's going to get better. Cam Ward needs a coach that can consistently put him in good spots, and they need to build around him. He's doing it with a bunch of guys that on other teams would not be number 1 receivers or number 2 receivers. The Titans, too, could be a destination spot. No state income tax, young, bright quarterback that people want to play with. Watch out for the Titans in the future. Not now, maybe not next year. The AFC South is for real. The Texans are for real. The Titans are for real. The Colts were almost for real. But the Titans, I like it. I like what I'm seeing out of Cam Ward. We might get Cam Ward in a Matthew Stafford Lions situation for 10 plus years. Who knows? But I think Cam Ward has talent that you cannot teach, and he's only going to get better. He's going to understand the game a little bit better. He's going to know when to take his checkdowns, how to navigate the pocket. Cam Ward is going to get better, and I'm in on him. But that's a wrap, guys. That is it for this version of Monday Morning Quarterback. And for you guys out there that are celebrating the holidays, I hope you guys have a wonderful time with your friends and family. I hope you enjoy the games of football, that we get the triple header on Christmas. We've got action all week long. Enjoy it. That is a wrap. Have a good one.